Welcome back to Monster Tamer, a 2D Pokemon-like RPG created with Phaser 3. Previously, we worked on refactoring some of the logic in our battle scene into its own class. We focused on our health bars and on the background. That way we had separate components for these. If you missed the previous video, there'll be links in the video description to the source code up to this point, as well as the complete source code for this video. There'll also be a link to the previous videos if you'd like to catch up. So let's get started. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to focus on moving our monster game objects out of our battle scene and into its own class. And so for this class, we're going to create a battle monster class, and it's going to be responsible for creating our game objects, creating the monster's health bar, having methods for taking damage, and it'll also control like playing animations and anything related to our monster during the battle. So to get started, what we'll do is let's go ahead and go into our source code. Under our battle subfolder, let's go ahead and make a new subfolder. We're going to call this monsters. And then under here, let's go ahead and make a new file. We're going to call this battle monster.js. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a base class that our enemy and our player monsters are going to go ahead and extend. So for our monsters, they're going to have a lot of attributes that are in common. So as an example, like currently, both of our monsters have a health bar. They both have a name, level, HP. They both have phaser game objects. They're going to have animations, and there's a lot of commonality between the two. Instead of duplicating that, we're going to isolate all of that code into this parent class and then have those two subclasses and extend it. All right, so to get started, let's go ahead and export our class. We're going to do export class, and we'll have battle monster. And then for our class, let's go ahead and add in our constructor. So for our battle monster class, some details we're going to need is we're going to need the Phaser 3 scene that we'll be adding our game object to. And we're going to need some details regarding our monster. So we'll need like their name, which asset key to use for the image game object, which frame, the current HP of the monster, the max HP, what their attacks are, what the attack values are, and just a lot of metadata. And instead of passing in all these attributes separately into our constructor, what we'll do is we'll actually go ahead and pass in a configuration object that will have all of this data. And so to do that, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and create a new type for our data. So let's go ahead and we'll add in a type def. And so this is going to be for our battle monster config. And this will have a type of object. And for our properties, we're going to expect our phaser scene. And for our other property, we're going to expect some type of monster details. So what we're going to do is we're going to reference a new type we've not created yet. And let's go ahead and just call this monster details. And so monster is going to be another object. So what we'll do is I'm just going to copy this block of code. Let's go ahead and paste it. Let's go ahead and update our type def name. It'll be a object. And so we won't need our phaser scene. Instead, this will have like the details of our monster. So we're going to have like the name. We're going to have our asset key. So this will also be a string. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it a few more times. So for our monster, we're going to need to know what the asset frame is. However, we could make this optional and just assume the default frame is 0. So if it's an image versus a sprite sheet, we're going to need the max HP. We'll need our current HP. And we'll need our base. We'll need our base attack value. And then we'll also need to know what attacks are available for this monster. So instead of doing attacks, let's do attack IDs. And this will be the IDs. So we don't need that property. And so now for our types, so for our asset frame, this will be a number. Same thing for our max HP, current HP, our base attack, those are all be numbers. And for our attack IDs, these will be a strings. So we'll have an array of strings. All right, so now that we have our types, we can go ahead and reference those in our constructor. And so for our battle monster, what we're going to expect is we're going to expect a config for our param. And so our config is going to be our battle monster config for our type. And so now this is going to have the details we need to create our monster game object. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and add some more properties to our class. So the first one's going to be scene, and then we'll have our monster details. And then so for both of these, we'll go ahead and add in our type. So we'll have our phaser scene. And for monster details, that's going to be our monster. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go ahead and paste that. And we'll go ahead and update to monster. And then what we'll do is in our constructor, we'll go ahead and update those values. So we'll have our scene. We'll set it equal to our config.scene. And for our monster details, we'll set that equal to our config.monsterdetails. All right, so one thing that we're doing differently is for our properties on this class, we're using a underscore for our prefix instead of making these private properties. And the main reason for that is for our enemy and our player monster classes, we're going to extend this battle monster class. And when we extend a class, a private property on the parent class, we won't be able to access it and modify it directly in the child classes. And so if we're going to need to add things to our scene, we would have to make the property public so that way we can actually access it. However, for our classes, this isn't something we want to actually be public. Instead, we want it to be more protected. But currently in JavaScript, there's not a way to do a protected variable. And so one way to identify these variables as they should only be used internally is we can use this underscore prefix. Another thing we can do is in our documentation, we can add the protected annotator tag to also identify that property as being protected. And then that way, for anyone reading the code, they know that this should only be used internally. We should never access this property directly. Likewise, in our IDE, by adding the protected annotator, we won't see that property in our IntelliSense, so it'll help avoid that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is in our Battle Monster class, we're going to go ahead and create our Phaser 3 game object. So if we jump over to our battle scene, let's go ahead and copy the code for creating our enemy game object. And what we'll do is in our constructor, we'll go ahead and place that code. So now we need to go ahead and update our references. So instead of this.add, it's going to be this scene add image. Then we're going to need our asset key, but we don't want to manually specify this. Instead, we're going to do this monster details asset key. And then we will go ahead and do our asset frame. So we'll go ahead and paste this here and we'll do and then let's go ahead and change this to asset frame. And then the next thing we'll need to do is we actually need to modify our position. So currently on our config, we don't have any properties for where this should be placed. So what we're going to do is we'll pass in those values into our constructor. But instead of passing in our X and Y, what we're going to do is we'll just make a new typedef object for a coordinate. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this code here. Let's come down here. And let's go ahead and call this coordinate. It's going to be an object, and our two properties will just be numbers. And so we'll have our X, and we will have our Y. So then what we can do is in our constructor, we'll expect one more parameter, and this is going to be a position. And we can go ahead and add that to our typedef real quick. And this will be a coordinate position. So then what we can do is now we can do position.x and we can do our position.y. All right, and so now what we should do is we'll want to go ahead and store a reference to our game object on our class. So let's go ahead and add a new property. We'll do phaser game object, and we will store that reference. So we'll do this, our phaser game object equal to our image game object. And so for our type, let's just copy that real quick, and we'll do our phaser game objects dot image. All right, and then so what else we'll do is we'll go ahead and let's create our health bar instance. So in our code, let's go to where we create our enemy health bar. And let's just copy this logic here. We'll just do that. And before we create our phaser game object, let's go ahead and create our health bar. We'll import our class. And then we need to go ahead and store a reference to our health bar. So what I'm going to do is just copy this. And we will have our health bar. And this will be our health bar. So then we'll just set that equal to it. And we won't want to do this. We'll do this scene. Alright, so to make sure everything's working, what we're going to do is we're going to create an instance of our battle monster class. So what we'll do is we're going to come back to our battle scene, and we'll go ahead and we're going to replace our logic where we create our image game object for our enemy. So what we're going to do is we'll make a new property. We'll do active enemy monster, and we're going to set that equal to our new battle monster class. And then so inside here for our configuration, the first thing we'll have is our scene. So we'll reference this. And then we're going to have our monster details. And so for inside here, what we'll have is we'll have our name. And so we'll have our monster asset keys, Carno Dusk. For our asset key, it'll also be our monster asset keys, Carno Dusk. For our asset frame, we'll just go ahead and define that as 0. And we'll, for our current HP, let's do 25. Max HP, we'll use the same value. Attack IDs, we'll go ahead and just do an empty array for the time being. And then base attack, we're going to go ahead and set that to 5. Then what we need to do is we need to go ahead and provide our positioning. So what we'll do is we're going to do our X value will be 768, and then our Y value will be 144. And then we need to go ahead and add that property to our class. So let's go ahead and do that. And then what we'll do for the time being is let's comment out our image game object. All right, so we are creating 2 instances of our health bar, but what we'll do is if we come down to where we create our enemy health bar, let's go ahead and replace this logic. So we'll just do const enemy health bar will be equal to this active enemy monster, and we'll reference our protected property. And let's comment this out. All right, so currently we're able to access our protected property because our active enemy monster is not typed to our battle monster. So what would happen is if we go ahead and add in our JS type and we change this to battle monster, what should happen is our IDE should warn us that, hey, we're accessing this protected property. And currently in JavaScript, there is no protected properties on the class, and that's why we're able to do this. It's just treated as a regular property, and in our IntelliSense, we just get a warning. So at runtime, this will work. But this isn't a practice that we want to continue doing. So for the time being, we're just going to leave it as our reference. But then as we continue working on our Battle Monster class, what we're going to end up doing is taking all of our logic for creating our container, and it's going to live inside this class here. So we're going to end up refactoring this shortly, but for the time being, we're just going to leave it here so we can validate everything is working. All right, with that brings this video to an end. In our next video, we're going to continue working on creating our monster classes. So as a reminder, there is a link in the description of the video to the complete source code for this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and hitting the bell icon to be notified when the next video in the series is released. For more great Phaser 3 content, please see some of the links on your screen now.